Welcome to the Country History Podcast.
That's not
That was real unsettling, dude.
super weird.
She went blank for a minute.
I know. My name is Paul. I am the country hipster. That music you just heard was none other than the Unholy Four and their super fucking hit song, Dirty Knife, as seen on the Country Hipster Podcast. So you cannot see it anywhere else. Now, look up the Unholy Four on Spotify and Bandcamp and Apple Music and wherever you can find the Unholy Four. Ottsville Record Garage, podcast-specific promo code BABY, 15% off of your entire order for the month of August at ottsvillerecordgarage.com. So go check it out. Got a lot to do here today. To my far left is my what?
Don't forget about the 16%
Well,
code.
but they got to go back and watch the Buffy episode.
That's the super specific.
That is the very super specific.
Don't forget that it's there.
If you want to get an extra % off for the month of August, you got to go back and you got to watch the Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode, which is like a couple episodes ago, and
or listen to it.
Well, yeah, you can listen to it too, but you know, if you watch, I look better. I'm all in black and shit. It's great.
Yeah, I don't usually watch them.
Wow, that hurts.
You do look fucked up.
I do. Thank you.
You're like a 37 times guest, and you can't even watch the fucking podcast.
I listen to it every week.
Doesn't matter.
I don't watch it usually.
Views is where the money's at. No one pays for listens. I'm sorry, Paul, you were introducing me?
Yes. So the asshole to my far left is my brother and co-host Adam.
Hey, guys.
My guest here to the left is our resident female.
Uterus.
Yes, resident female rabbit rescuer and expert on everything German. Kristen
I'm not. Hi.
is making her first appearance on season 2. So welcome back, Kristen.
Expert of all things German and Abraham Lincoln speeches.
Yes, apparently she knows the Gettysburg Express.
Gettysburg Express.
Isn't that what it's called?
That's a great train ride.
It's my new punk band name.
What's it called?
Gettysburg Address.
Express, whatever, man. Fuck it, who gives a shit?
How much were you guys drinking before I got here?
It's more been like a thing going on for a couple days. Yes.
Okay.
So I got some questions for you first.
Oh no.
All right.
I'm not prepared.
I know you're not. That's why I'm asking.
Oh no.
Are there any upcoming bunny events?
There are not.
There are not.
Not
There's
currently.
no bunny events. All the bunnies have been rescued.
That's false.
That is false. Okay. Well,
but as far as I'm aware, we don't have anything upcoming as far as fundraising or actual physical events happening.
And what is the name of the rabbit rescue again?
Love and Buns Rabbit Rescue.
Love and Buns. We love the buns here at the Ottsville Record Garage.
We do.
Yes.
We love the buns.
So another question for you, because I know you were complaining about it throughout season 1. Have people stopped coming up to you and asking for autographs and selfies when you're out and about?
It's still pretty
happening?
Constant. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's
life of a celebrity is hard.
I know.
It is. It's really tough.
I was thinking about hiring security, but we'll see how that goes.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. And then this asshole to my right here, from the unholy.
Check 1, 2. Check.
Jesus fucking Christ. I'm gonna fucking punch you. I'm gonna punch you. Do you know that blows out the speakers? He does that shit when he gets his sexy voice on. Don't do it.
You know what?
I want to make sure this mic's working.
I'll get sexy voice getting at some point.
Oh,
let me get a few more beers in me.
Yeah. From the unholy four himself, Mr. Sean here. Sean Stinson is one of our guests here. Here's your third time on the podcast, but your first time actually in the garage for the podcast.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Yes,
Correct.
yes,
Indeed.
Exactly. So I got some questions for you. All right. So number one, what we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, but what is the name of this new side project you have going on?
Oh, it's called Midnight Man.
Midnight Man. Yeah, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
It's a side project.
It's a side project. Okay.
It's the only project. It's I don't know, punk rock music made by middle-aged men. There you go.
All right. Cool. And how's the junkin' going?
Pretty descriptive.
Junkin's good.
Junkin's
Quaker
good.
Town, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that where your shop is?
No. But we've been junking in Quaker Town all weekend.
He's no good at
I'm
this
not well.
stuff.
I'm not feeling well.
What is the name of your junking business? Where can people find your junk?
In Ruckersville, Virginia.
What's it called?
It's called Moonrise Salvage and Surplus.
Okay.
At the Ruckersville Gallery.
All right. So there you go.
In Ruckersville, Virginia.
Ruckersville, Virginia.
Check 1, 2.
All right. So This week's episode is a listener pick, and Sean is the listener who picked it. And we're here. You did, yeah, I know. Because it was like at the beginning of season 1, like it was a couple episodes in. You're like, you should do some Iron Maiden.
I did.
Yes, and we are here to talk about Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast. So I'm going to get right to the factoids, and I'm going to have some questions for everybody here. Not you, fuck you.
That's hurtful.
It is. It is. All right, so
understandable, but hurtful.
Yes. I have a bunch of fucking factoids here. Okay.
Why's the cooler so far?
I don't know. So this is the third studio album from the English heavy metal band Iron Maiden. It was released in the U.S. on Capitol Records on March 22nd, 1982, and then released a week later on March 29th, 1982, in the U.K. on EMI Records. This is the first album of Iron Maiden's to feature singer Bruce Dickinson, and the last album with drummer Clive Barr. The album met with critical and commercial success. It is the first album to top the UK charts and reached the top 40 on the Billboard 200. The album was recorded in 5 weeks and saw writing contributions from the various members of the band, which was a first for Iron Maiden. Steve Harris was primarily the songwriter for the band, which is kind of weird because he's a bass player. Yeah. You got to move up. Yeah.
I actually didn't know that until I saw their documentary movie.
Yeah. It had an iconic and controversial cover of Eddie. Eddie holding a puppet of a Salvador Dali-looking Satan, who was holding a puppet of a mini Eddie, aka the Beast. And also, the original cover, when it came out, was a misprint. They originally, the background sky turned out blue instead of the gray, which is what they were going for.
He does have a little puppet.
Yeah,
he
does.
I missed that completely.
But
check that out. It's adorable.
All pressings since 1998 have had the intended gray sky, so that did get.
Wait, I was talking about my own bullshit. What was the misprint?
The misprint was, once again, the sky in the background up until 1998.
Don't fucking say once again like it's the first time I've ever fucked up and not listened to you. Like, it's going to happen.
Oh, I know. That's why I said, once again, let me tell you what I just said, that you were in your...
And again, I got so angry that so the sky was fucked up. That's all you got to say.
The sky was fucked up.
Cool.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Done.
Can I say that I think it's the best of all the Iron Maiden album covers?
Would you stop?
In my opinion.
Segments? We're not.
He said covers.
It doesn't matter.
What segment is
Are we doing factoids, motherfucker?
Are we doing a top 3 album covers? Because I didn't prepare for that.
I wasn't prepared for that either.
Yeah, we didn't do a top 3 album covers.
Top 3 Iron Maiden covers.
I just won't say shit. I'll just shut the fuck up over here.
No, it's all good.
You're just there to look pretty, Sean.
Yeah, man. You're not. We don't want your opinion. The album was strongly opposed by some social conservatives in the U.S., saying that Iron Maiden were Satanist, and there were lots of protests on the tour for Number of the Beast here in the U.S. The album was a commercial success. By 2010, it sold 14 million copies worldwide, and 2023 has reportedly sold over 20 million copies worldwide. 2 singles were released on the album, which is Run to the Hills and then Number of the Beast, which debuted at 7 and 18 respectively on the UK charts. And many different certifications on this album, but it is platinum in both the US and the UK. So
would it have to be for Diamond?
I don't know. I forget.
I know a couple of the albums we've covered are Diamond, but it just said, hey, Diamond. I'm like,
I think you guys determined in one of the episodes I listened to recently was that it was a metric shit ton.
Yes, it's a metric shit ton. That sounds about right. So they apparently, as of 2023, had not sold a metric shit ton.
That's slightly less.
Slightly less.
Slightly less than a metric fuck ton.
Oh, that's right. It was Beastie Boys. That was Diamond.
Yep. So... Yep. So Sean,
see, I do listen to the podcast.
Yeah, but you don't watch it.
Just don't watch it.
Jeez,
I don't watch it either.
Right.
What was on Nick's shirt that episode? You'll never know.
Yeah, he had a cool shirt on.
Yeah,
it might have been your face on his t-shirt.
Yeah,
lovely. I don't even know Nick.
Well,
but I'm famous now.
You are.
This podcast, so.
Oh wait, I forgot to ask. What's everybody drinking?
Is there merch with my face on it?
Yes, absolutely.
I got hams.
Hams. There you go.
I never heard of that.
It's pretty good. You wouldn't like it, but it's pretty good.
This is stateside.
Stateside.
Lemon cucumber.
I got the Shiner Light Blonde Texas craft beer, 99 calories. It's pretty good. I had it last week.
Yeah. I've been drinking Red Stripe for 4 late nights.
There you go. Red Stripe.
In a row.
All right. So you picked this album, Sean. Why did you pick this album as your listener pick?
Ooh, good question. Man, I got into Iron Maiden when I was a little kid, like 11 or 12, like this older kid on the block, you know what I mean? I was like skateboarding. He was like, come check this out. And he gave me the Live After Death VHS to take home and watch it. And by that time, like Iron Maiden.
Who was that?
Dave Callahan.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, okay, all right.
And by that time, Iron Maiden already had like 6 albums out or some shit. So like as a kid getting into that, it was pretty epic. Like there's so much stuff with the covers and Eddie and the music and the fucking, you know what I mean? It was a lot to dive into pre-internet where you just had to use your imagination and guess about all this stuff, you know what I mean? So, and I think Number of the Beast is a really just good way to like start with Iron Maiden. Like if you're going to dive into their catalog, I think that's a good one.
Okay. All right.
In my opinion.
And like, how do you like generally feel about, you know, like metal bands in general? Like what are some of your favorite metal bands, or like, you know, least favorite metal bands, or like even style of metal? Cause there's a lot of different styles of metal.
Metal for me kind of ends in like 1988. Cause I was a little kid when I was into metal. And, like Master of Puppets, Metallica, probably a little bit of early Megadeth, Slayer to a point. And only because I got distracted by punk rock and other music. You know what I mean? It's not because and it kind of leads into something that I'm sure we'll get into at some point, but like how now I like it, but I'm not really sure. Like I don't sit around listening to Iron Maiden all the time, you know, but I really like it in kind of a nostalgic way. You know what I mean? Like it's got, you know, your memories get attached to music and shit. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get into other stuff, but first, I need to ask you some questions about this. So, when we were putting together the list for season, you know, we're finalizing everything for season 2. You're pretty adamant that you wanted to be on this episode.
I wasn't. You actually assigned me this.
No, because I thought you were like, oh no, I want to be on Iron Maiden.
No, I said I would, but like you were like, oh, I was going to assign it to you anyway.
Well, I probably would have, but okay. Yeah. I thought you really wanted to be. Okay.
No, I mean, I did.
You really want to be on this episode? I don't even know who Iron Maiden
no
is.
idea what the hell you're talking about.
You guys keep saying Eddie. Who's this motherfucker?
No, I definitely know Eddie. So my brother was an Iron Maiden fan, and I just remember being like 8-10 years old, hanging out in his room looking at the album covers and like him pointing out all of the different things between each album cover that was the same, and like there's this symbol here and there's that thing, and
he's like, you see the devil here, like a little tiny puppet.
He's got a little tiny puppet. Yeah. So I have memories of all of that, but like the music itself, when I played this album, I was like, oh, I guess I'm sure I heard it. It was playing in the background when this happened, but yeah.
Okay.
So
what are your general feelings on heavy metal?
It's not my cup of tea generally. I mean,
okay.
I like a little Metallica, you know, the hits.
The hits?
Yeah. Like a couple Anthrax songs.
Like everything off of Saint Anger? Is that what you're saying?
What?
Saint Anger is Metallica's best album of all time.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. Sure.
Just like drop that in conversation. People think you're really cool.
Yeah, and really like,
hey, you guys hear the Saint Anger yet? It's fucking great.
Man, did you hear like how great of a drummer Lars Ulrich is? It's amazing.
I don't trust you.
Oh no, I don't know.
It's accurate.
I saw Metallica once, not to get off subject.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
That's all I have to
on
say.
You saw them on the Saint Anger tour?
It was pretty late. Yeah, after that. Yeah.
Wait, really?
Even better.
Yeah. I got tickets. Somebody gave me a ticket.
Saw Metallica 2 weeks ago.
I lived near the stadium, and I walked over there.
It was yesterday.
And I was like a little kid rocking out the Metallica.
Okay.
I think I was 35 or something. I don't know, 38 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
All right. Well, you were like a little kid because you're like 7.
Lars Ulrich makes me really nervous to watch him play.
Yeah.
He looks like he's going to fall off. Like he looks like he's not going to get the job done, but he did.
Okay. All right.
He gets the job done.
All right. So usually I go right to Adam, so I'm going to do that now.
I said thank you because you didn't ask me any fucking questions.
Yeah, no, because I don't, you know. But what is how do you feel about the album?
I enjoyed the album. I was really fucking pleased that we finally got a listener album that I didn't want to fucking punch myself in the head.
Yeah. You know, one of those albums was your kids.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, hers especially.
Yeah.
I was worried that
she wouldn't have seen the punch coming.
She never would have thought. Yeah, she never would have saw it.
She wouldn't have had any idea.
Got her 2 times. She wouldn't even know.
Yep.
I was really worried that I wasn't going to like this album, and then I'd have to fucking deal with my girlfriend who lists Iron Maiden in her top 4 favorite bands. So I was really worried that I wasn't going to like it, and I was pleasantly surprised driving home last week from your house that I enjoyed the shit out of it. I have a concern about Iron Maiden, and it was kind of confirmed when I got home last weekend. I texted my girlfriend and said, I'm listening to Number of the Beast, and it's really fucking good, but I'm worried that, like, there's nowhere to go from here. Like, it was kind of confirmed when I got home and she started playing other Maiden for me. And also, while we were playing other Maiden through the Alexa, some of Bruce Dickinson's, like, solo shit came up, and that sounds exactly the fucking same.
Okay.
So I enjoy this, but I was concerned to dive deeper into Maiden at the fear that it's just going to be the same fucking thing over and over and over and over
Well, if
again.
it's your girlfriend's top 5, how have you not delved, whatever.
She doesn't really, so
how haven't you dipped your foot in the pool yet?
Her top, she said this the other day, her top 4 favorite bands are Iron Maiden, Megadeth, Slayer, and Pantera.
Oh God, it just drops off.
So,
like, what the fuck?
I've heard,
like the first 3, like, I'm like, like, I'm not huge into metal, but like, I'm like, okay, what fucking Pantera?
Yeah,
what?
she fucking loves Pantera.
What?
She was super excited because she saw Pantera last August, and she was super jazzed about it.
That's horrible.
I've heard a decent amount of Megadeth. I've heard a decent amount of Slayer. I mean, we've covered Slayer on the podcast. But for some reason, like, I've while dating her, I've probably only gotten like 1 or 2 Maiden songs. Like 1 or 2 Maiden songs while we've been like sitting at the kitchen counter, like drinking beer, playing darts. Surprisingly, like when she starts like drinking, she starts like playing real shitty music, like that fucking like Beyonce country fucking thing.
Okay.
She was all about that for like a week and a half. I wanted to kick her in the head. But yeah, surprisingly, like, so she lists those 4 bands as her 4 favorite bands, but whenever it's like she sits down and plays shit, she tends to lean more towards like hardcore music. She doesn't really play a lot of like the metal shit at home. The only time like we really play any of those 4 bands at home is when I put on Seasons in the Abyss, the Seasons in the Abyss record that I bought her.
Okay.
So she's headbanging in the car on the way to work.
Probably, yeah.
Saying.
But for the most part, like, I think she tones it down because she knows that I'm not a huge fan of metal, and she knows that I lean more towards like hardcore music, the emo bullshit that we listen to, all that shit. So I think she kind of just tells Alexa what to play based on like the present company. But yeah, surprisingly, like we don't listen to a lot of metal at home. Until I came home and told her that I had just finished listening to this album. And that whole fucking night after I got home, it was just all Maiden for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I think your suspicions about Iron Maiden are absolutely correct. I think you're spot on.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's because I was sort of like obsessed with Iron Maiden when I was a kid. There's from the beginning up until around Number of the Beast, and then Live After Death was a big live record. There's sort of like a development there, and then they kind of just do. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. They kind of just do Iron Maiden for the rest of their career. Like, so you know what to expect,
which makes sense. Like, if you're fucking good at something, fucking do it. Exactly. Like, if you're good at being Iron Maiden, be Iron Maiden.
Interesting though, but you went back and forth between 2 albums, between this album and Somewhere in Time.
Right, and Somewhere in Time is different. Somewhere in Time
pre or post?
It's post.
Okay.
And they bring in like keyboards and shit, and the sound changes a little bit, and they do that for a couple records, and then it just sort of stays on this other trajectory. Excuse me. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's sort of like an AC/DC, like you know what you're going to get after a certain point. In my opinion,
they figured out the formula. Why change the formula?
Yeah. They figured out how to play a 4/4 beat, and they just went with it.
Okay.
But on the whole, like I said, I enjoyed the album thoroughly, and I was very happy that we finally got a listener album that I like.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So I'm on board with this album 100%.
Cool. So Kristen, what do you feel about the album?
So at first it just sort of was like background noise, and I couldn't differentiate one song from the other, if I'm being honest. But no, now I like it.
Okay.
Stop.
There was a fuzzy. Fuck.
Checking out my notes.
I'm trying to fix your damn book.
No, now I like it.
I think for a heavy metal album, Number of the Beast has like, it's got some anthems. It's got some big hooks. It's got some big choruses. Like it's got things that you can latch onto if you're even a non-heavy metal fan. Or whatever.
So that's the other interesting thing is like my idea of heavy metal is not this. Like this is like I was saying
so,
to my
so all right, but go on. I'll get into that later.
So I was saying to my girlfriend while listening to this the first time, I was like, if there was a metal Mount Rushmore, I feel like Bruce Dickinson should be on it.
I agree.
But like in my head, I guess just from all of the other bullshit that I like, dudes I hung out with in high school, like all they listened to was like death metal and shit. So like they were constantly like trying to teach me how to play like Cannibal Corpse and like Pig Destroyer and shit like that. Yeah. So like in my head, like this doesn't fall into a heavy metal realm because of shit that I've heard that is way more ridiculous than this is.
I think there's like Iron Maiden is born of sort of older stuff, like Black Sabbath, and I think Judas Priest is too, and I think that was like a particular sound. And then I think Metallica in the early days were really sort of pioneers to make it heavier, and like it's kind of a great thing that they did, or else maybe all heavy metal would still sound like that. And then it went from there into like thrash or whatever. It just gets heavier and heavier until you get to, well, Slayer is pretty early, but
like new metal and shit like that, and you know, stuff that's, you know, just where are my notes about that? Because I was talking about some different stuff. Oh yeah, like because like that's the thing too. Like I think with like metal in general is like, you know, like you say, like when you think of heavy metal, you don't necessarily think of Iron Maiden. I actually do think of Iron Maiden when I think of heavy metal. You know, I think that like, you know, when you look at like the bands, even back at that time, when you look at Kiss, all they were doing was regular rock and roll with makeup. Yeah. You know, same thing with Alice Cooper, who are generally considered heavy metal, but they were just rock and roll bands. Megadeth and Metallica were basically like the first like thrash metals who definitely took it up to another level. And it's funny you mentioned Priest, because the closest metal band to Iron Maiden in that sound, that style, and that creativity is Judas Priest, in my opinion. And I think those guys are the, you know, the like the creators of this, like, and even you know, to an extent, Black Sabbath is more blues than it is necessarily metal, which is why I'm just like, I'm not necessarily going there, because like they had some like, you know, and even when you listen to the lyrics of Black Sabbath, they're really not, they're not like this like deep crazy shit. Like Ozzy bit the fucking head off of a bat, but the words he's talking about,
who hasn't?
Yeah, I know, right? All the time. The words he says, like when he's singing,
world, who hasn't?
I know. You know, they're not necessarily what I would consider metal. You know what I mean? Even though like they're the predecessors of metal,
right? Before metal.
And then you get hair metal, which came from Iron Maiden, but is not the same as Iron Maiden. It's not even. I don't even necessarily think that I would consider hair metal. It's basically it's a metal image. It's a harder image, because
it's kind of like what you said about Kiss. It's just rock and roll with makeup.
It's just rock and roll with makeup.
What hair metal is rock and roll with makeup
and hair
and spandex.
Right. Yes. You know, even like Twisted Sister, all that shit. It's all you know, all
fabulous
that.
Makeup.
Fabulous makeup.
Let's call it what it is, but makeup nonetheless.
Yeah, you know, absolutely.
I think that happens all the time. I think, and you guys have talked about it before on the podcast, where there's cornerstone bands. And then there's sort of like, you know, spin-off bands or whatever.
Yes, copycat syndrome.
Or fabricated bands by a record label or whatever, you know. Until people can't stand it anymore, and then the next thing usually comes along.
Yep.
Right.
And in the case of metal, it was grunge. You know, so but all right.
They say.
So Krista, were you done your why you liked it? Okay. Yeah. So why do you like this album?
Why I like this album?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so catchy. Parts of it are so catchy, it's hard for me to even think of it as a heavy metal album now. But when I was a kid, I loved the imagery of it. You know what I mean? I loved like the, you know, I mean, having 666 in the chorus is it's kind of ridiculous and corny almost, right? I mean, like it's, you know, I like it in a nostalgic way. We listened to it the other night by the fire. We had a satanic ritual. It still sounds great. You know,
it was great. It was great. We had like
Did you bring out the Ouija board?
I think it's a blueprint for what heavy metal used to be. I think it's great.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely like this album. I think it's great. Awesome writing, excellent recording, very tight production, and you were talking at a time that the majority of music back then was recorded live. You know what I mean? So the basics of this music, and that's what I think people miss about the recordings then and when you're doing an album then is that like all the musicians played the basics of the album straight through. Maybe they had a click track, but most of the time they didn't. Yeah. And then they might have gone back and overdubbed some stuff. But like that is kind of one of the beauties of this album and the musicianship as well, is like how fucking tight this band had to be to do those things that they did. Now, that being said, Sean, I did not realize how much you enjoyed classical music, opera, and specifically Andrew Lloyd Webber style musicals.
I know.
Because this album is every bit of that style.
I know it is.
Okay.
It's funny. It's operatic. It's theatrical.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's completely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I have something to say about that when he's finished. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, and I think I knew it even when I was in 6th grade and I was watching the Live After Death stage show or whatever. I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. But when you're 12, it's comic booky in a way, and the fact that they put Eddie on every cover, but in a different thing. What you were talking about is the Somewhere in Time cover, where the artist slipped in references to all the other covers. Mm-hmm. You got to remember, this is before you could just scroll through and be entertained every 6 seconds. Like you had to like look and try to figure this shit out, use your imagination and stuff. It was pretty great for a 12-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what
I was gonna say that this, like, there's parts of different songs that remind me of Judas in Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah.
Like totally. And we saw Jesus Christ Superstar at the Keswick, and there was a Judas in that was like really heavy metal. Yep.
I have a note here that like basically Bruce Dickinson sings like he's the lead tenor of the fucking Metropolitan Opera throughout this whole fucking album. Yeah. Because he's got that range and he's got that like ability to do those things and sings with that emotion too. That fucking like Michael Crawford fucking Phantom of the Opera type emotion there. And like the riffs are like they're movements in classical music. You know what I mean? You're hearing a lot of scales, a lot of arpeggios, a lot of thirds, a lot of triplets, all stuff that you hear throughout fucking classical music and stuff like that in opera, where like you would identify that with that is like, and that's kind of one of the first things that hit me with it. It was like, I'm like, man, this is basically like a fucking like Mozart type piece, but with electric guitars.
I agree.
And I don't mean that in a bad way, especially for the musicianship on it. It just surprised, like looking back and knowing you.
Well, when I was 11, all I wanted to do was play guitar. Mm-hmm. So it was completely, took all of my brain power to look at Iron Maiden.
All I wanted to do was be in Cats.
Yes. All I wanted to do was, exactly.
Wait, did you see that somebody
I wanted to be Mr. Mistopheles.
Added the buttholes on all the cats and
the movie that they made with the fucking even Taylor Swift's in it. They added the buttholes actually I don't know if they added it. I think originally it had the buttholes. And then they actually removed them.
And then they were like,
but then it got like that they were like, they can't have buttholes.
We can't do that.
We can't do that. But then the clips got released that had the actual like buttholes of the cats on.
How many times can you say buttholes?
I don't know, probably a lot. You know what I mean? I have no problem.
Tune in next week for the Butthole Surfers episode where we say it every 10 seconds.
Yes, absolutely.
I think Bruce Dickinson has to take the heat sort of for most of the theatrical operatic stuff, right?
Is that heat though?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like whatever you want to call it, the blame. Like in the early Iron, when they had the first singer on the first 2 records, he didn't have the range. I thought he was a cool singer, but he sang it like in this kind of growly, thing. And then when Bruce comes on, it's almost as if the music started to follow him. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's soaring into this fucking,
That was one of the things I read in the factoids is that, like, that's one of the reasons they actually switched singers was because the way the music was being written and the direction they were going. They didn't think Paul Di'Anno, did I say that right? Yeah, they didn't think Paul Di'Anno had the range or could do those things.
Thank you.
And that's why they got Dickerson in there.
Are you closest to the coworker?
Yeah. So,
thank you.
And speaking of like their theatricals, like I've never seen them live. I know you've seen them a couple times. Like I imagine just some clips I've seen online just like recently. Like I saw this one thing where like they have this giant fucking like Eddie animatronic thing come out and like kick Bruce Dickinson like in the ass. Yeah. So what are their live shows like?
well, anybody who wants to know should watch Live After Death. That was 1985 when they sold out the Long Beach Arena with no radio airplay. Heavy metal's not a big deal back then. Like, not quite yet.
No, you're good.
That was probably one of the greatest live shows they ever had. I saw them much later. Adrian Smith, who's my favorite he was the guitar player that I really liked in the band. He had already left the band, which was kind of a bummer. So the first time I saw him, he wasn't on it. They were still fantastic, you know. And yeah, it's, you know, there's usually some prop, like some background related to whatever album tour they're on. You know, like the one I saw them on, it was like some Ice Age looking fucking thing.
Nice.
And then Eddie comes out and whatever his current state is based on the album cover, right? And they usually fight him off or something, or like, I mean, in '85, if you watch Live After Death, they're like, Bruce Dickinson is like picking the guitar player up on his head, and he's fighting Eddie. It's this ridiculous fucking thing, right? And then I saw them twice, 20 years apart. I saw them when I was 14, and I saw them again when I was 34. And it was like the same fucking, it was incredible. It was the same show. Only they had brought Adrian Smith back, so now they had 3 guitar players, which was completely insane.
Okay.
Like, I mean, just.
But their music, they can do that.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. And especially, great. and that's the thing too. Like, I like the stuff on this album here where you're hearing the riffs on the guitar. Like, you know, so you know both guitars are doing the same riff, but so is the fucking bass. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, like the first band I ever really realized was doing that at a time was Thin Lizzy. Mm-hmm. When they did that shit, I didn't even like put that together. And then like going back and listening to this, because like I grew up listening to fucking, not necessarily listening to Iron Maiden, but Iron Maiden was always on from Michael, and then Brian was very much an Iron Maiden. Brian. So, you know. So, you know, I never put that together until like you actually showed me like a video of like Thin Lizzy. I'm like, oh man, look at that shit they're doing. And that was one of the things that kind of struck me the first time I listened to this album this week, was like, oh fuck, listen to that. Like, you know what I mean? Steve
Harris is an incredible bass player. And I don't mean in like a Jaco Pastorius kind of way, but he plays with 3 fingers. And if you watch him live and he's doing this for 2 hours, whatever, it's insane. Yep. His stamina alone is insane to do that gallop. Heavy metal thing with your fingers for all of it.
But that's not just what he does though, because he's playing the riffs. He's doing the runs.
That alone is just incredible. I mean, it's like, he's punishing the bass for 2 hours live. You know?
Speaking of stamina in the band, my girlfriend has seen Iron Maiden, I think a couple times, and she said something to me along the lines of Bruce Dickinson is at least in his 60s, 70s at this point.
Something like that,
And according to her, he's in more shape than she's ever been in her life. She's like, watching that guy live is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you have to be to like be a touring band.
Well, not only that, like he has his commercial air like license as well, so he actually flies the Iron Maiden jet like whenever they're on tour. Like he flies like everybody to like, you know,
she's gonna be on point.
Big fucking Eddie on the side of the fucking jet.
And, I want a stuffed animal Eddie.
Do you?
I would love to have one.
Okay, I'm sure they do have them.
I think that would be so cute to have.
The way Paul's talked was like, really, because they're on sale at the Oswald Record Garage.
No,
I know, right?
But you know what? We did have on sale at the Oswald.
We did.
What's on sale?
Well, it's not anymore because they're sold out. Because he bought it.
Oh.
If you watch
Eddie Funko Pop,
if you watch performances of Iron Maiden, probably even today, I haven't seen them lately, right? But he is such an insane person on stage. Like he runs around, he's screaming, he's singing all this crazy shit. You would think he would leave the show and go take a fucking nap. He's flying the plane in between gigs. Like he's just one of those fucking people that just like has boundless energy or whatever, you know, like.
And he recently just had cancer as well, I believe. He beat cancer. I think
it was throat cancer.
Yeah, something like that.
Jesus.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. There you go.
There's a in that same documentary, which I didn't see until kind of fairly recently, they ask Steve Harris what his influences are, and he says something. I'm not quoting because I don't remember, but he said something like, "There's only 2." He says Wishbone Ash, which is, if you haven't heard that band, is incredible.
Okay.
And Jethro Tull, and the Jethro Tull is kind of like, real. And then I don't know. I can kind of hear it. I guess if you think about it while you're listening to it, but I would have never thought that. You know, that was pretty interesting.
That's interesting. I wouldn't put Jethro Tull either, but like, no, I do. I guess I get it because that kind of sound. That, you know what I mean? Like, why does Iron Maiden not have a flute though?
I think they could have.
They probably could have a flute
if they wanted to. Why not?
Yep.
Maybe they just haven't met the right flute player.
That's possible. Yeah. Sometimes that happens. You got to meet the right flute player. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think I've ever met a flute player that I've felt was the right flute player, though.
I've met it
right for what?
I fall hard for. I fall hard for flute players. So I've fallen for at least 3 in my life.
I can see that. I can see that. Yep. No, I think overall though, like Iron Maiden is definitely like rightfully earned their place in history as like one of the greatest like heavy metal bands ever. And you know, when you think about like they're like we're talking about Eddie and all the different things like that, from a marketing and branding standpoint alone too, like take the music away from it, they were like the pioneers of that shit.
Pretty
Like,
fucking genius.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. You know, and you have like basically the most iconic mascot, for lack of a better word, in fucking modern music. You know what I mean? And it's like,
do you know my first exposure to Iron Maiden and Eddie was?
what's that?
Eddie was a playable character in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4.
Oh yeah, he was. That's right. That's right. I don't think but didn't you have to like unlock them?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
if I
see, I
remember
was never
correctly,
good
if I
enough
remember
to
correctly,
do that.
Number of the Beast was on that soundtrack as well.
Okay. All right.
So apparently, if you go to Amazon UK, they have some shit like
For Eddie,
look at this cute little fucking guy.
there you go.
That's not Eddie though.
No, it's a bear.
It's a bear,
Eddie.
Eddie.
It's Betty.
You know what's great? This makes great radio.
It
You're
does.
going out there showing Kristen stuff on your phone that nobody else could see.
Yeah.
And,
Nobody can
you know what I
see.
mean?
What do
So-
you care? You just want people to watch it on YouTube
You have to get the
anyway.
view.
you know,
man.
I know, right?
There's
So,
also-
it's
I think-
great radio.
It's also
I
an
think-
Etsy, but that's it's gone.
Oh, look at that. The little
Hey,
crocheted
can you
one.
order me something? Can you pick me
Yeah.
up?
The little crocheted Eddie.
It's not that crocheted Eddie is $95.
No,
I
thank
want
you.
one of those little
I don't
frog
like it that
fountains that
much.
spits the water out of his mouth.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
you
Can
give
you
me
do
one?
that?
I think Megadeth tried to have like an Eddie.
Little
type
bit,
figure
yeah,
in the
yeah.
beginning. I think Anthrax maybe had like a little guy for a
Well, yeah,
while,
because they had the guy
knot
with like the
guy,
little
the
mustache or
knot
whatever.
guy.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think he stayed on, but
Nah, he didn't.
but
And
that
then
had to be directly taken from Iron Maiden, right?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, and Kiss also is like a marketing fucking magnet thing there. Where it's like everything
sure.
is fucking
Kiss
and
coffins.
Kiss coffins,
Kiss,
Kiss everything.
good
Little
fucking
Kiss.
Kiss
Do you know what Little Kiss is?
What's for children?
No. It's
Is that
it's-
part of Kiss?
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
What's
It's
that?
it's
Holy
little
fuck.
people dressed as Kiss playing Kiss music.
Oh no.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
not.
It's pretty
I
rad.
feel like that.
That's
Okay.
pretty insane.
They're called Little Kiss. That's what they're called, and that's the thing with Kiss is and that goes
I
goes
thought
back.
that was kind of just a joke.
So like
when
what would happen is people were doing, like, this is back I guess in the 70s or early 80s, like people would make like these Kiss magazines, right? Like like these underground zines. Well, Kiss would fucking find them, hit them with the cease and desist, and go, now listen, here's the deal. If you're going to give us X amount of the profits, you'll become an official magazine of Kiss. And most people were like, yeah, okay, but then
hell
they're
yeah.
losing all the money because like
Yeah.
Kiss is like,
Right.
nope, it's our property. All
But
this
Kiss
kind of stuff.
sponsors us. So
Exactly. The
They
official
endorse
zine.
us, so it's cool.
Yep. So that was the thing, and the whole like Kiss Army and all that
Jesus.
kind of stuff. But again, I don't think Kiss is heavy metal. You know what I mean? I think they're they're theatrics. They got the stage show, they got the makeup, they got the pyrotechnics and whatnot. But like if you listen to their sound, like Rock and Roll All Night is not
Yeah.
Number the Beast or
I mean,
Invaders
there's
or
a little
you know what
bit
I mean?
of a little bit of the attitude of
Yes,
heavy
there's the
metal,
attitude,
Gene
but-
Simmons spitting blood and shit blowing up and stuff. But
Yeah, but that's about it. I mean, even probably the closest Alice Cooper song to being a metal song is what's it called? Fucking Welcome to My Nightmare, which wasn't even with the original Alice Cooper band. He did that when he became solo. So even the other stuff though, like before that, like I'm 18 and shit like that, that's just like a rock song, you know what I mean?
I agree.
So
Absolutely.
so that is kind of funny. Like that's why I think like Iron Maiden is like an iconic fucking metal band. So
Yeah.
yeah. But overall, man, I like the album. I'm really glad you picked it. So
Yeah.
got you in the garage.
I'm in the garage.
You're in the garage.
Yeah, thanks for picking it because
I
I had a
love the
nice little
garage.
conversation with both of my brothers about it. So
Oh, really?
It was kind of cool.
How did that go?
Yeah.
What was that
I
conversation?
basically was just like in our group text that does
Uh-huh.
not include our sister.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. Just was like, hey, I'm doing the podcast
It'd be
with
fucking
Paul.
weird if she finds out you guys have a group text without her because she listens to the podcast.
That would actually be kind of
I mean,
crazy.
she knows we don't talk to her.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna tag her on the social media
Please
stuff.
don't. Please
I'll
don't.
be like,
She tried to follow me on Instagram and I
yeah.
deleted it. But anyway.
Well,
So the conversation went, hey, I'm doing the Iron Maiden episode, Number of the Beast with Paul, and my brother Tommy was like,
Who's Paul?
No, he was like, I didn't think anyone else in the family liked Iron Maiden. And then my brother Michael's like, I like Iron Maiden. And then it was just like from there, I was like, well, we're doing this episode. And then he sent me the Wikipedia.
What if your sister also loves Iron Maiden? And that was the thing that was going to bring your family back together?
Country music.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of things about her, which is why we don't speak. But I forget what I was saying. Anyway, so myself. He sent me the Wikipedia as if I couldn't look it up myself.
Well, you know, it's nice.
Yeah. So
but both of my brothers, my older brothers. Sorry, I have more than two brothers.
Right.
The brothers that count.
Let's be honest, the ones that count.
The ones that count. They were much more in Iron Maiden than I was. And I remember as a kid, Brian having this fucking like life-size poster of Eddie on his wall.
I feel like we had one of those too in our house.
And I think it was somewhere in time because he had like a laser gun, and everywhere you moved, it fucking followed you. The gun just followed you everywhere you went. And I was like, God damn it, can we not have that poster in our bedroom? It fucking sucks.
You know, you guys talk about it all the time. Like when you disagree about music, I listen to you guys, and I think you said once, like, well, this is what I fucking listened to in high school. You know, and like I understand that, like kids or younger people, whatever, want to listen to stuff that's current. Like nobody wants to be listening to old shit when they're younger, right?
No.
You know? But Iron Maiden was one of those. It was so fucking mysterious. You know what I mean? Like everybody's older brother had this weird fucking poster on the wall, and you're like, "What is the fuck is that?
Yeah,
like,
what is
if
that?
I get into that, am I gonna fucking
kill chickens to me?
Yeah, am I gonna fucking And
will
also,
Jesus still love me if I listen to them?
And also that we went to Catholic school, you know. So, so I went and I actually had.
Racy doing
remember
that.
those fucking? We would. I don't know if you would remember.
Trapper
You
Keepers.
could buy these fucking. You could buy these fucking like wall hanging tapestry.
Yeah,
things. They had,
yeah,
like
yeah.
album covers on it. And I had like a Number of the Beast one on. I tacked it up in my room. You know, my mom's like, "What the fuck? Like what?"
Swear to
hang
him,
up-
he's a Satanist.
Yeah, like you're just gonna hang the fucking devil. And it was also the '80s and like the Satanic Panic and all that shit was going on. Like
that was definitely a thing.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I think Iron Maiden is also a band that's made for people who listen to Dungeons or play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I mean,
well, if I'm to believe Stranger Things, yes.
Yes.
If they don't have a sense of humor about their music, they're fucking crazy. Or all heavy metal in general, right? I mean, if you can't laugh at it, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's pretty good.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, like,
agreed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thinking about medieval torture shit and stuff.
Right?
Mummies and shit. And all
and
kinds of. Their subject matter is insane all over them.
That is Vincent Price who does the intro to Number of the Beast, right? I believe pretty sure it's Vincent. Although it didn't come up on the factoids, but I'm pretty sure it's Vincent Price. Which he also, for people who don't know, Vincent Price also does the Thriller rap in the middle of Thriller, which I did actually see.
Is that a rap?
It's technically called the Thriller rap. Yes.
Oh no!
Yes.
That terrorizes y'all's neighborhoods.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Blondie had
He
a
doesn't
rap.
say y'all's.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Blondie
Listen to
definitely had a rap.
terrorizes y'all's neighborhood.
So here's the funny thing about
Terrorize
that.
your neighborhood.
No, it doesn't.
I don't know.
Kristen.
I don't know if it had anything to do with. I don't know if he did the same thing with Iron Maiden, but I know with Thriller, Vincent Price had the choice of $20,000 or a percentage of the profits of the record.
I think he's we'll give you 20 grand.
Or you get to have Bubbles the monkey.
Yes.
Ham sandwiches.
Yeah.
Or like,
and he took the 20 grand.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, could you imagine, like, if he took the percentage of, like, Thriller? Like, I mean, at that point, I mean,
so
Vincent Price was probably, like, much older anyway. It's probably like, fuck it, just give him fucking money.
I'm gonna die soon anyhow.
you can't take it with you.
It's like Steve Albini.
Vincent Price.
Vincent
R.I.P.
Vincent Price.
How long has he been dead?
Also, MJ.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Jackson.
It's like fucking.
And
Steve
probably
Albini.
Bubbles.
Bubbles.
Probably definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
definitely
life
Bubbles.
expectancy of chimpanzees is not great.
Is it? Actually, what is the life expectancy of
Keep talking.
You're going to look it up?
Please look that up.
Yes,
Thank
the
you.
life expectancy of a chimpanzee, which I think
I
that's
feel like
probably
they're
pretty
comparable
long.
to humans
Probably.
almost.
Yeah.
Maybe like
That's true.
60s?
They
Maybe
live
not.
They live into their 60s.
Gorillas
know.
can.
We're
know
gonna
that
look it up.
much. Yeah, he's looking it up right now.
Dude, you should totally get a chimpanzee.
So I should get a chimpanzee. What the fuck am I going to do with the
Well, I'm-
chimpanzee?
Who's
Let them live in the
trying?
garage.
Get an adopted chinchilla, but apparently Katie shot that
She
one.
shot
down.
it down. Dude, I'm going to walk
It's
in
an
here and the fucking
Elderly chinchilla.
monkey's going to fucty fucking throw shit at me.
Yeah, we
I already
don't
have fucking Modest the mouse throwing shit at me. I don't need a monkey doing
It's
it too.
unsanitary with a
I'm
new
just
baby
saying,
on the way.
trying to help your
is.
podcast.
Average lifespan of a chimpanzee in the wild is about 40 years. However, chimpanzees that live in captivity can survive even longer, and some have been known to live for more than 70 years.
There you go. So Bubbles could be a lot.
Bubbles could. Who
Bubbles.
inherited Bubbles?
That's a good question. Paris. Probably.
I don't think she wanted him.
Yeah, she did.
You should look that up.
She's probably like, I want my monkey. She's like, you can
hear-
take my brother and sister, but you leave me my monkey.
Did you hear the rumor that like Paris is actually Madonna's daughter?
No,
I just want to hear the
That's the
impersonation
rumor.
of Parisi. Can you do it again?
no, it was her going. She's like, you can take my brother and sister, but you leave me my monkey.
Take blanket. Nobody needs blanket.
I'm quoting Dewey Cox.
What's that?
there.
What
baby's-
happened to the Elephant Man's bones? Weren't they hanging around?
Yeah, they were his too.
Neverland Ranch as well.
That's a good question.
He had all
Good
kinds of
question.
shit.
Yeah.
Where is all of Michael Jackson's shit? God damn it!
Well, he didn't actually die. Didn't you see that video? There's like on TikTok where they
Careful,
like
guy. Where's
where they
all of
see
his
like
shit?
the ambulance pull up to like the morgue and Michael Jackson walks out.
Yeah.
You never saw
Struts
that?
out.
No.
Yeah, that's like,
Well,
that's like a
He
theory.
walks out of the
He's
morgue.
like, he's like, he's like, I'm not dead, bitches. You think I'm dead? So
He
yeah,
walks out of the
Wow.
ambulance, does the fucking smooth criminal, and just walks off.
actually, that's it. That's how he got out of the
Yeah.
the stretcher. It's like,
Holy fuck.
so yeah, no. So
Oh my gosh.
This podcast just went right off. the
It
fucking
always
Oh,
goes
it
off
always
the
goes off
rails.
the rails.
We
Yes.
lost it. I'll bring
Are you new here?
I'll bring it back. I'll bring it back to center. Paul,
yes,
we all know how we feel about this
yes,
album.
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, nice.
Does not fucking matter.
Uh-huh.
Peons.
Yes.
As I always say. That sweet baby angel upstairs who was very patriotic today.
Uh-huh.
Very
Patriotic
Yes.
as fuck.
Much. Is that
Yes,
because
yes.
of the Olympics?
No, I
Yeah.
just dressed her.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she was in
It
her
was the only thing
American
that
flag
was,
dress.
clean.
It wasn't. No, I was
Yeah.
just like, this is
Laundry
easy to
day.
put on you. Yeah.
Like
Babies,
she
it's
was-
so easy to put dresses on babies, whether they're boys or girls. Just put a fucking dress on the baby. It's so
That's
much
why
easier.
in the long time ago, all the little babies always
Mhm.
just wore
They
dresses.
just wear
too.
dresses. Yeah.
But what does that sweet dress wearing baby angel feel about this album?
Okay. Before we get into that, I gotta bring this up because she brought up, you know, about how we're having a new baby, which we've talked about a couple weeks ago. Me and Katie are kind of at a
Katie
bit
and
of,
I
Katie,
continue.
whatever. We're at odds about the new baby's name. Whereas I feel
Jedediah.
no.
Jedediah for
No,
a
I
boy.
got it.
I got it. Juan Valdez.
Juan Valdez.
Yeah.
No, that's not bad. That's actually not bad.
See? Told
But I've told her that the only proper thing to name this baby, regardless if it's a boy or girl, is Regina 2 Electric Boogaloo.
No.
And she's not
you.
with it,
Yep.
Yeah, I'm on board.
right?
I'm in.
It's like, right? You're on. You're
Yeah.
on.
I mean,
No-brainer.
yeah, that works.
Okay.
I'm okay.
No
Right.
brainer.
We
I mean,
I'm
I'm
okay.
okay with it.
we could kill your wife.
No, we can't. We can't.
On the podcast. Right
Dad,
into the microphone.
Don't
I'm
say
just-
things
I'm
like
just saying,
that.
I think people should.
Because if something happens, like
I got
pregnant
an
women
idea.
turn
Let's
up dead
kill your
all the
wife.
fucking time, and if something happens to Katie,
They were like, Adam
you really, yeah, like it's the
Oh, but
husband.
maybe that'll get us a bunch more listens if I say like some incriminating shit about killing your wife.
Stop!
You
And then
just
she ends
did.
up dead,
You
and they're
just
like,
did.
"Oh, we have to
Don't
listen
put
to that
this
episode.
shit out into the universe.
We got to listen to that
please.
episode as
already
evidence."
did.
And we start blowing up. We get
Oh my
monetized.
god, no!
You're welcome.
well, I am going to need some form of income.
Yeah.
So if she were
right?
to-
If she were
No,
to
so
know.
so here's what I want our listeners to do on
Good
Spotify
Lord.
and YouTube. You can drop comments for us. So tell us.
Oh no, fuck that. We had a
Should
poll to name the
Paul
skunk.
kill
Let's have a
his
poll to
wife?
name your kid.
Oh no, we're gonna have a
Yeah,
poll
we're
to name
doing
the
that.
kid too. Don't
Yeah.
worry about that. We're gonna have to.
Should Paul kill his
but we're-
wife? Yes or no?
no, we're not
No,
doing
we're not
that.
doing that. We're not doing that. We're not killing my wife. I love my wife. I don't
Yeah.
want her to dead. I don't want her dead.
I
like
love
it
his
pretty- I
wife
like it
too.
much.
She's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Stop.
So, but here's what we're gonna do is because we did do this to name Michael Stripe. So drop in the comments on Spotify and on YouTube. What should we name my second baby? And then we'll set up a poll, and the winner might get naming rights to my baby. But I think it should be.
It's just gonna be a bunch of movie sequels.
I know.
Um,
I think it should
Regina
be,
2, The Revenge.
Yes,
Like,
it
And
should
then-
be Regina 2, Electric Boogaloo. So just drop it down and we'll do the thing. But
and
what were you gonna say?
shortly after, your wife will kill you.
Oh, she's gonna totally fucking kill
She's
me
gonna
about this.
fucking kill you.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Well, I
so
mean,
do that.
Are you going to find out the gender of the baby?
Nope.
Okay.
We didn't find out with Regina. We're not going
Right.
to find out with the new one either. It's just like whatever.
I saw
I
a nice
figured
looking
that.
tarp shed in your yard that you can probably live in.
Did it? Probably, yeah. I got that out there. I want to move down to your fucking jamming shack.
Come
Yeah,
on,
that's
come
I'm
on
coming down
over.
to Virginia.
Come on.
So as you asked, Regina.
So we want a gender neutral name, is what you're saying?
It really doesn't matter.
Because we're not sure.
Well, we just want suggestions of the name.
John Leguizamo Jr.
I like that.
Yeah,
that's a good
good.
one.
All right.
That's
Well,
strong.
these could all, and we'll try
strong.
to narrow it down. You know what I mean? But I'm just stuck on Regina 2 Electric Boogaloo. I just think it's
T-Rex.
T-Rex.
Robert De Niro.
Don't know
Why? Because it's a baby and it's going to have like short arms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you do that again? All right, guys. If you
See,
were watching
and
the
you would
video,
never
this
know
is
that
why
if you
have
were
to
just
watch the
listening.
video.
I am moving my arms in a little T-Rex motion. For those who do not have the YouTube,
That's
or
gotta
not
be-
watching them on Spotify.
For
That's
those of you
gotta
who don't
be
have
my-
YouTube, the free website that's open to everybody.
No, I mean, because I watch it. I listen in my car, and it takes the video away on
Yeah,
Spotify.
it does do that. Yeah.
Because
So-
it's like you shouldn't be watching things while you're driving.
Probably not.
So I've done several impressions of Kristen when she hasn't
I
been
know.
here. So that might be the new one. You know what I mean? I was like, Kristen.
I'm fully aware of the impressions that you do of me while I'm not here.
They're pretty
Thank
good
you.
though, right? I mean, it's like
I haven't
yes,
heard that.
yes, I agree with you, Kristen.
Generally, what they are. Thank you.
At any rate, Regina Factor, solid indifferent.
Oh.
It's very solid, which kind of surprised me. Literally no reaction to this, which did surprise
That's
me.
weird.
It's
No
terrifying.
singing, no.
She
You
the
know,
like-
baby sitting there
She
blank
was
faced.
just, I was just thinking
she
that.
did. She's
Like kind of
she
like what you did at the beginning of the
Yeah.
episode before you did your intro.
She just dissociated
She just went, huh?
completely.
Yep.
She's like in
She
her
did.
own safe
Stone-faced.
space.
She wasn't upset. She wasn't singing. She wasn't like kicking to it. It was like at one point,
Which is interesting because we talked about the theatricality of it. It's
And
surprising
she
that
loves
she
musical
wasn't super
theater.
into it
Yep.
because that kid fucking
Agreed.
breaks for musical theater.
At one point, I looked at her like in the rearview mirror, and like her look on her face was like, "So this is happening today."
She was like doing
You know what I
this.
mean? I'm just like okay,
devil
you
horns
know.
and like rocking her head.
Just
But she
imagine Regina in the
wasn't
background is playing air guitar.
Yeah, I know. So that is our first indifferent of season 2, and so
Wow.
the listeners on the Regina Factor have 1 like, 1 dislike, and an indifferent. Tom has a like, Adam has a like, I have 2 likes. So
I have a question about
I'm Paul.
About-
the Regina Factor. When the
Yes.
new baby comes,
Uh-huh.
will you then?
Nah, fuck that kid.
that kid is going to have to earn its place on the podcast.
Okay.
Like Regina
like-
had to audition. She had to go through a whole
Regina's
thing.
going
Yeah.
to eventually be old enough where she can just be like, "No, I don't like this album."
Right. But if her opinion sucks,
which will
then
make-
she'll be out.
Which will make it way fucking easier than Paul having to fucking read a child's
That's,
Exactly.
emotions.
I mean, that's true. But like, I was just curious if you would take like the collective babies, both of them,
Like the baby factor?
the baby factor.
Well, actually, it could still be the Regina Factor because it would be Regina and then
And
Regina,
Regina
2
2,
Electric
Regina
Boogaloo.
2.
yeah.
Right.
So we could still call it the Regina Factor. But
Can we just call the baby EB for short?
maybe that could work. That could work.
EB.
We could do that.
Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, EB.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to start to my right. Mr. Sean here with the sunglasses. Top 3 songs, Sean.
Where are your
Yeah.
notes?
In his
My
brain.
notes are. I forgot my notes at home. What did I
you
say?
do your homework?
Children of the Damned.
Okay.
Fuck. 22 Acacia Avenue. Hallowed be thy name.
Okay. All right.
Because I like the deep cuts. I'm not as
You
much
like the
into
deep cuts, yeah. Okay.
I
All
don't
right.
like-
All right. Kristen, what are your top
So
3?
I didn't know what the deep cuts were, and I didn't realize that the 2 of the songs that I have are the singles.
Okay.
So Run to the Hills,
Yay.
The Prisoner, The Number of the Beast, and 22 Acacia Street gets an honorable mention because
It's an avenue.
Oh,
There's multiple lanes.
sorry,
So-
Avenue.
I was sure it's in the road, though.
Sorry,
22,
I wrote
22 Acacia Way.
Acacia Circle.
Acacia Lane.
Yes.
Just because of the whole Jesus Christ Superstar feel
Uh-huh.
in it.
Yep.
That's the one with the Jesus Christ Superstar.
There's a bunch with
Yeah,
Jesus
there's
Christ,
a-
but
there's a bunch of it, but that one-
that one's pretty strong.
Like
I'm gonna listen
it's
to
like a
these.
7 minutes, almost 7 minutes song.
Is it?
So like
They're all-
it's 6
yeah, they
minutes
get
and
long.
some
Heavy metal shit.
because there's only like 8 songs on the album.
Yeah.
So this one is like 6 minutes and whatever, but towards the end it's like really
Mhm.
Judas-y.
Yeah. Okay. Adam.
I got The Prisoner, Run for the Hills, and Hallowed be thy name.
Okay. So I have Invaders, Number of the Beast, and the best song on the album, in my opinion, is Hallowed Be Thy Name. And I do an honorable mention to Run to the Hills. So
I almost gave an honorable mention to The Invader.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I love like the thing in Invader, which is the first thing that maybe hit like the whole classical music thing. You know, all that shit is like, oh fuck yeah, man, that sounds like a fucking Mozart riff right there.
I'm glad you guys all said The Prisoner. I really like that song. I think
it's a good one.
I think it's weird. And
I didn't say Prisoner. We're not listening to me.
We did.
Yeah,
The
people whose opinion matters.
Wow,
the important people.
Wow, it's only called the Country Hipster
Podcast.
I believe. I'm a nerd out. I think the sample in the beginning is from an old TV show.
Yes,
it is.
Called The Prisoner.
Yeah.
Which apparently
that was really cool too.
Which apparently is what the song is written after. Is the old BBC television show.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's like from the 60s or whatever.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought at first he was writing about Les Miserables.
Yeah.
Really? I really did until I read that song. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Can I tell you a weird pet peeve that I have?
What?
It's a very, very strange thing that bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah.
When people who weren't in a performance of Les Miserables refer to Les Miserables as Les Mis.
I don't have an issue with it.
It bothers the fuck out of me.
I say like this just because I can't
Maybe
speak
they just
French.
like brevity.
It bothers the fuck out of me. I'm like, I'm sorry, who'd you play? And they're like, no, but what are you talking about?
Javert.
Like,
I played Javert, motherfucker. It's like stars.
I'm just not very good with French.
Stars? I can't sing like
Come
that
on,
anymore.
give me a taste.
German,
No,
sure.
No, fuck
Come
you.
on,
What's
No.
the German Les Miserables?
I don't know. I'll look into it.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll get back to you.
There was a party. I'm not going to talk about the party because it was scandalous and ridiculous. And I don't
know where this is going.
It's going somewhere.
All right.
And we talked your brother Mike, into playing drums.
Oh, are we talking about my bachelor party?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
Oh.
And I don't really, I think I remember it, but I think he put Gangland through the PA.
Oh, he probably did.
You had a bachelor party?
And he was fucking...
Not for the second marriage, for the first one.
I was
don't know.
What?
I'm not going to say he was drunk, but he was drinking.
Oh,
and
yeah,
he
he was
fucking played the shit out of that. And we were losing our minds.
So my brother's a drummer, and he's the one who introduced me to Iron Maiden. So I feel like it's like he probably used to practice to it or something.
Probably.
It's pretty...
Yeah.
It's like I can see why.
It's funny because that's the second time we've talked about like Michael at parties, like throwing on albums and like just playing like because Frank Daly brought up from the podcast Frank Daly in the Smiths episode that was like 17 years ago.
Yeah.
On season 1, about how well you were there. You were actually there for it. Remember we had a Murky Distraught rehearsal and Frank Daly was on drums.
Yeah, I was there.
And fucking Michael came downstairs and he's like, "You're on my drums." Do you know how much this equipment is worth? And Frank's like, oh man, yeah, you play Rush, huh? He's like, fuck you mean I play Rush? I can fucking play anything. He's like, no, you can't. No, you can't. Fuck, I can't get up. And he fucking threw on fucking Rush and played it like perfectly. And he just sat there for a second and was like, you break anything, you gotta give me cash.
You make him sound like some Wild West like villain.
But he was a Wild West villain. You're gonna tell me my brother wasn't Michael's not like back in the day. He was
playing my drums.
He was a Wild West villain with a perm, dude. It was the fucking worst like kind of Wild West. Do you remember?
My brother had like the.
I mean, I've seen pictures, but like
the mullet,
the 80s. Well, no, not like like the 80s mullet.
The feathered back sides.
Feathered. And then like the really,
feathers.
I mean, the back of his hair was really long.
Yeah,
it was long.
No,
Sorry, Tommy.
Mike's hair was
it's
pretty
not a
long
good look
too.
For you, dude.
But yeah, then he went with the fucking perm. I remember we were walking home. We were in grade school and we're all in line at like St. Bart's and we're walking out. And then like my brother's coming from like Bridge and Pratt, walking all cool with his leather jacket and his perm. And like I see him, I'm like,
did he have a mullet with his perm?
No. And I see him and I look at Sean and Sean's looking at me like, what the fuck is wrong with your brother? And we're only in like 6th grade. We're like, what the fuck did he do?
How much older is Michael than you?
5 years. He's 5 years old. Yeah,
which is pretty huge when you're 12 and he's 17.
So my brother's like 9 years older than me.
Okay,
and we have another brother in between, and then a sister in between.
Yeah.
Okay,
sort of. So
we don't talk.
We don't talk about Bruno.
Talk about Bruno or Jennifer.
There you go. Because it's Jennifer with a G. That's why. Actually, I don't know. Is it? No, I didn't think so. Okay. All right. So, what is your least favorite song?
Children of the Damned.
Okay, Sean.
I just couldn't get into it. Sorry.
I don't know. I'm not a critic. I like the whole fucking album. I mean, I could just throw a 3 random one, but I guess
that's fair. That's fair. Adam.
Invaders has some silly parts.
Don't fuck with Invaders, dude. Don't fuck with Invaders. Invaders good.
Interesting enough, my least favorite was actually part of my top 3 until I listened to the album a couple times and I started to hate the fucking song.
Oh,
what's
22 Acacia Avenue?
Really?
Okay.
I don't know. When I first listened to it, I was like, oh, I fucking dig this.
So you made your notes a week ago and then not again.
No. No. Actually, these notes were written while I was at like 5 seconds after I got here. I was smoking a cigarette out front.
Oh, okay.
And I wrote my notes down so I didn't forget. But yeah, 22 Acacia Avenue. Original. On my initial listen, I said that's probably on my top 3.
22 Acacia Street.
22 Acacia Place.
Acacia Circle.
Acacia cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Boulevard.
Yeah. Originally, it was on my top 3, and then
22 Acacia Circle.
Yeah. After multiple listens, I was like, yeah, this song is to me this is the weakest. So
okay,
interesting.
Yeah, I
went from the top to the bottom.
I am with Kristen. "Children of the Damned" was my least favorite song on the album, and like right from the beginning, and it never changed. It's like,
yes,
I've had songs in the past where I'm like, this song fucking sucks, I can't stand it. But then like the more I listen to the album, I'm like, no, I really like this album. This song from the beginning, I was like, nope, I hate this song. And
I've had several weeks to like listen to this because I knew about this a while ago. So I have been all over the place with like trying, but "Children of the Damned" has been consistently my least favorite.
Really?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, and I've changed my mind about my top 3 like a million times.
Mm-hmm. My top 3 was the only thing I changed was I think like.
I'm trying to zip her shit.
Run of the Hills was always part of the conversation. Invaders wasn't necessarily part of my top 3 at first. And then like the more I listened to it, I'm like, I like Invaders better, but I still like Run of the Hills. And that's why I was like, I got to give that the honorable mention because it was originally on like my top 3 right away were Number of the Beast, Hallowed Be Thy Name, and Run to the Hills. And then the more I listened to it, the more I liked Invaders. So that's why it's like it kind of knocked off Run to the Hills. Now, one of the things, and it's a shame, I for some reason, I don't know why, probably because I don't follow Iron Maiden that much, I thought The Trooper was on this album, and I was actually kind of disappointed that it wasn't. Yeah. The Trooper is probably like my all-time favorite Iron Maiden song.
That's a really good one.
To the point where actually we've talked about covering it in Birmingham 6.
I would love for you to do that.
It would be amazing, especially with Joe on fiddle, man. I could just see him like it'd be pretty crazy.
Speaking of the Trooper, there's multiple Iron Maiden beers, but of the Iron Maiden beers, the Trooper is the one that I've had, and it's quite delicious.
Yeah, yep. Again, the marketing power of Iron Maiden. They have their own beers. All right, so
Spotify has just informed me that Iron Maiden is on tour.
Oh, there you go. There you go. With the Lemonheads? Did I see that?
It said Lemonheads and Iron Maiden. Oh, okay. But not together.
Not together.
That would be a crazy ass show.
All right. So real quick, even though this is our third listener pick episode so far this season, I'll just give you a recap of what we're doing for the Big D for the Discogs value of the listener picks is that we're taking a bunch of different pressings. I'm trying to go for 5 pressings if it is available. Yeah, I don't actually have it here. Was that what you were looking for?
No, I was looking. So at the bigger D.
She was checking out my Big D.
I was told to purchase this D.
She was looking at my Big D.
Paul was like, "No, I want it to be as small as possible.
I want it to be as small as D possible for Adam."
Because I was going to create something like that.
It's funny because he was
too.
Thanks, Tom.
He told you, he was like, buy the smallest one possible. And he texted Tom like, yo, show up Kristen.
Yeah, no, right?
I make Kristen feel like shit.
No.
This was
if it makes you feel any better,
98 cents on Temu.
I refuse to wear that one because I keep forgetting to bring up a can of clear spray paint because
it's
fucking
glitter. Yeah. It's herpes
you
all
end up
over
with herpes when you fucking wear it.
Well, I mean, it's like that's just like Tuesday for you. Yeah.
No, Wednesday. I get herpes on Wednesdays.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Don't do that.
So get my fucking schedule right. Sundays we record the podcast. Monday, Tuesday sleep. Wednesday herpes.
Okay, my bad. I don't know what you're doing these days anymore. You don't come around and you live in Delco now. It's
Thursday ice cream Sundays.
Oh, I like ice cream. I like ice cream.
Everybody likes ice cream.
So all right, so. Just a reminder, what we're doing is I'm trying to take for the listener picks because I don't necessarily have a copy of it, and the listeners may not have a copy. So I'm trying to take multiple pressings, figuring out what their very good plus value is, and then getting an average. And the average is what is becoming the
just to clarify
Discogs value for the.
Sean,
listeners.
do you have a copy of this on vinyl?
I don't actually. No. We were just talking about how I never had any Iron Maiden on vinyl because I never had anything when I was a kid. I was like.
You had a lot of Star Wars
fucked up cassettes and shit.
You always made me be.
I'd like to
fucking.
I'd like to start getting a lot of Maiden on vinyl, building it up.
Yep.
Well, maybe you could purchase some from the Oxville.
I asked him, but Dickhead doesn't have any.
I don't have any.
OxvilleRecordCrash.com, baby.
Oh,
check 1, 2, check.
All right, so
I gotta make sure this thing's still working, man.
So basically, I've done, and now one of the things I did do on this, so like I've got 5 different pressings that I got the value on. I'll just go over the years real quick. I got 1982, 1986, 2012, 2014, 2017. Now, one of the things I did take into consideration in this was one of the pressings that was listed was a 2012 picture disc.
Ooh.
Iron Maiden, in my mind, has been synonymous with picture disc throughout the years. Like that's just something that I've always seen Iron Maiden albums. They've always released their albums on picture disc of some sort. So I had to make sure that I put that in there. Yeah. So the value of those albums for those 5 different albums, the pressing is a very good plus, range from like $15.60 up to $81.25 and everything in between. With an original pressing being like around $76, the picture disc is actually what's the $81.25 value.
Makes sense. Really?
I think my brother has that
Michael
one.
Didn't have some of those.
He did have some of those picture discs, but he doesn't have them anymore. He sold them to somebody else, and I was kind of mad about them, but whatever.
He also fucking sold the Camaro too,
dude. Don't see.
You gotta get back on that.
You gotta bring on the fucking Camaro.
I'm still fucking upset
about it.
Okay,
do you know? Was
it a bitchy
God,
Camaro?
Dude, it was a bitchy Camaro. It was fucking great.
You would have looked so fucking cool in that Camaro. Your whole life would have been.
I know. I fucking know.
Seats in the back.
Let me tell you about the fucking Camaro and Michael selling the. Man, I didn't want to fucking go there, man. You brought it up.
No, I want to go there.
So
Deep cleansing breaths.
Here's what happened,
Deep
right? So back in the day, let him
vent.
Fucking,
it's okay, get it out. Calm down a little.
Michael fucking got this fucking Camaro. I don't know what year it was. It was just a fucking gorgeous Camaro with the fucking sunburnt, fucking color and everything. It was just fucking great. It was a great fucking Camaro. And then he would always be like, "You're not fucking touching my Camaro ever, motherfucker."
He never let you touch anything of his.
Exactly. But then
touch my drums. Don't touch my car.
One day I needed to borrow a car, and this is as we're all adults. I was like, "Hey man, can I borrow?" Because I knew we had 2 cars. I'm like, "Can I borrow a car, man? I got whatever it was with the kids." And where are you going? You gotta go piss?
Check on the dog.
All right, yeah, go do that. So we're I'm sitting there and I'm just like, "Can I borrow a car?" He's like, "Yeah, man, you can borrow a car. Stop over, whatever." So I go over to his house, and he's like, "Man, I can't believe I'm doing this." I'm totally expecting him to give me the fucking minivan. Yeah. I was like, "Doing what?" And he's like, "You fucking break it, I'll kill you," and hands me the keys to the fucking Camaro. I'm like, What? He's like, "Fucking be careful." So
you should have never come back.
I shouldn't have. So I borrowed it. I had it for 2 days. I'm fucking I went up the highway for no reason whatsoever, just so I could fucking try to open it up a little bit and all this kind of shit. Fucking loved it. Brought it back to him when I
picked up some high school girls.
Exactly. Yeah. I was had my REO Speedwagon playing. Yeah. I was like, "What's up?" So
hey ladies.
So I said to him
just imagine Paul driving past high school. He's like, "You ain't seen nothing yet."
Yeah, exactly. So I said to him when I returned, I was like, "Listen, man, if you ever sell this thing," "I ain't never selling this thing." I'm like, no. I get it. You shouldn't ever sell this thing. But if you're ever going to sell this thing, I'm not selling it. I'm like, all right. If you get to that point where you want to or need to sell it, fucking sell it to me. I will buy. I don't care what you want for it. I will fucking buy it. Yeah. Right. So he's like, all right, whatever. So weird thing with our family, which I think I've mentioned before, is that I know he's being weird.
Just creeping up, just trying to be seamless.
There you go. It was good. It was good.
Yeah, nobody even noticed.
Does anybody got any more beer over there?
Yeah.
Where's the cooler?
Behind you. So
it's literally directly behind me.
So a weird thing in our family is that sometimes we would go just sometimes without talking or seeing each other. And it's just whatever. We just don't do that. So I guess about a year or 2 went by. And
Paul, do you need one?
No, I'm good right now. And I stopped by. What are you
feeling? Are you feeling
Glowworm needs something?
Our quiet guest.
You feeling a shiny ruby red bird, or are you feeling like a red stripe?
That sounds good.
What are you feeling?
Red stripe. I didn't know glowworms cough. That's great. So I go over to his house.
Lucky studio audience member.
Yep. So I go over to his house, and I'm looking around. I was like, "Oh man, you got the Camaro parked around the corner. I didn't see it." He's like, "Oh no, man, I got rid of the Camaro." I'm like, "You fucking what?" I'm like, "Did it totally die? The engine blow up?" No, man, it needed a water pump, and so I just swapped it out for this other minivan. I'm like, "You fucking what? You did what? What
it
the
was
fuck?
A minivan?
You traded it for a minivan?
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
He already had a minivan.
Didn't he trade it for an SUV?
No.
He just said he already had a minivan.
Well, he had a couple
Come on,
minivans. Yeah, man. No, he's traded for that fucking red minivan with the Pontiac.
The shitty Pontiac?
Yes.
Oh. We should have had Mike on this
minivan.
episode, so I could have fucking kicked his ass.
I was like, dude, I would have.
I thought he
What
traded
the
for
fucking
the
water-
fucking Suburban they had.
No. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I would have
that
put
guy.
the water fucking
Okay.
pump in
I
there.
love that guy.
I was like, are you fucking kidding me? God damn it.
Can I propose
Fuck! That we kicked Michael's ass. I'm pissed off.
I
again.
want to make a Michael effigy that you guys can beat the shit out of.
No.
Right?
We have
Just
Michael
to get
on.
this out.
Special episode, and we let the healing begin.
Oh, fuck you, dude.
Are you gonna bring Oprah
Deal
on?
with it, man. Deal it with it.
I need another beer now. God
I feel
damn it.
like Oprah should be involved in this.
Deal with it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
at any rate,
Dr. Phil.
thanks for
I don't know.
bringing up the fucking Camaro,
Yeah,
pissing me off.
you're-
goddammit. You're a bad
I'm
influence.
just saying, you could have been.
Color, like,
I've been
this-
drinking, so
You're
You've
getting
been
all
riding around
riled
that
up.
Camaro, listening to Number the Beast.
I'm gonna drink the Ruby Red.
Could have grew
Ruby
a mullet.
Rainbow.
You could
Yeah,
have had a
no,
sweet
we
mullet
can make a Michael effigy, and like you could just
and beat him.
beat the shit.
You know what?
out
I
of
think we need to change the name of the box of Mike.
yeah, the box of douchebag.
Box of douchebag. Yes,
Box of
because he
dicks.
fucking sold box of
Box
dicks.
of dicks.
Box of dicks.
All right, you guys are putting me. I didn't want to have to do this, but you guys are.
What?
Uh-oh.
I like to just tell Mike that I'm not a part of this. I want no parts of any of this. I'm out.
It's all
Mike.
good.
Don't
So
hurt
just like the thoughts
Do
and
not hurt
opinions of the Country Hipster podcast are
Do
not
not-
shared by.
All right. So
I'm out.
Do not reflect Sean's opinion.
at any rate, the average Discogs value of this this record here is $47. A very, very good plus value. So that brings the listener's value based on 3 albums to $163. Tom is at 1 album and $57. Adam is at 1 album and $30. Me, I am at 2 albums and $253.
Fucking Steel Train.
Fucking nope,
Fucking
nope,
Steel
It's
Train.
No.
fucking Buffy
Fucking
the
Buffy.
Vampire Slayer. So
And I can't even be upset because I enjoyed the shit out of that.
It was-
so
it
like I
was,
can't
wasn't
even.
it? I know.
That
I
episode-
hated Steel
Like
Train.
you
which
were
made it-
pissed at Steel Train.
Well, so I wasn't pissed at Steel Train. I just didn't like it. I was just like, and then it's fucking worth that much money. But
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no,
The
fucking
Buffy
Buffy the
episode
Vampire
has
Slayer.
not aired for me to listen to yet.
Well, actually, it
But
has when
by
everybody
the
else is seeing
time
this.
we get
So,
to
you know.
this, it will have.
All right.
So
So
I didn't know
I'll
about
get it.
any.
grab the
of
box of dicks
Grab
or the box of
this. Box of
douchebags.
dick.
The box of fucking crushed dreams from the fucking Camaro.
Playing with fire.
Kristen loves Michael Stripe.
I do.
You do. You love him. All right.
Probably.
So- So Kristen, you'll be on again. So I'm
yeah,
gonna let
no,
Sean
I was
pick
going to
for
say
this
Oh, I
one.
get to
that. Let
pick.
Sean
You
pick.
get the pick. You get the pick.
Here we go.
Just one envelope.
Do I
Did you
get to
cover
read it?
this with contact paper?
No, it's tape.
That's
Oh.
packet tape.
Here,
All right.
no, give it to me.
What? I can't do it.
Ah, fucking go. Do you know how to read?
Right. He knows how to read, Paul. Unlike maybe you.
Hey.
Don't look over my.
sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, you're gonna fucking
All right, what is it?
Rudyard Kipling.
Oh, fuck you, dude. Fuck you.
Billy Joel Glasshouse.
Oh,
nice.
and this is an Adam
That's
pick.
what
So
I'm on.
Adam gets his second pick of the season. So there you go. Yeah, now you got to find it. So this is another one, much like Brand New, and the Beastie Boys. This is another artist that we covered on season
What's on
1
that
as well. But I
Still
picked
rock
Billy
and roll
Joel.
to me.
I picked Billy Joel last season. Adam picked Glass Houses for this season. So there you go. So next week's episode will be Billy Joel Glass Houses, an Adam
Yeah.
pick.
It's got my jam on it.
That
man.
does.
Does that have All for Lena on it?
I think it does.
That's my
All for
jam.
Lena.
That's my
That's a
jam.
good one.
Last
jam.
last song.
And wait a minute.
Yeah, last song on side 1.
There's something
Hold
else
on.
going on in that record.
Is there?
Yeah. What's the inner sleeve look like?
What's the inner sleeve look like? I don't know.
Am I thinking of the right record?
I have no idea what you're thinking.
Does it have a band photo?
Yeah.
Where's
Does,
All for
does
Lena?
Liberty DeVito
Am I
have a
blind?
watch on his ankle?
Yeah, he does.
does.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that shit.
There you go. Liberty DeVito, drummer, longtime studio drummer
That's some
of Billy
badass
Joel.
shit.
There you go. All right. So Adam,
Why is he wearing a watch on his ankle?
Why
Nobody
isn't
knows.
He needs to tell the
Yes.
time, Kristen.
Okay.
he
my
keeps
bad.
time with his foot?
Did you need to
So,
look at this?
He's a bad man.
No,
Here it
no.
is.
So
There's the
Adam, do you
cover.
have anything you
Keeps
want to
time
say
with
about
his
this
foot.
album to start with?
No, same as I always say. Listen to it, form your own opinions. This one's a good one. I'm happy the listeners finally had a fucking good pick.
Yep.
I'm hoping the listeners have more picks because there's another 7 of them to fucking go. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Kristen, any final thoughts?
This was good. I was surprised.
All right. Good. Sean, any
Thanks, Sean.
any
Yeah.
words you want to leave us with?
Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast.
The number of the beast.
For it is a human number.
Its number is. I'm not fucking doing it. Fuck you. I'd like fucking to love like fucking Satan walk.
do you guys want to sleep? You guys can kiss a little bit? What are you doing?
We might.
Yeah,
We
can
might.
you guys knock
Yeah.
it off?
Yeah, well, you know.
Want us to kiss?
Hey,
Maybe
it is
they
what
want
it
a
is.
room.
You know. All right. So, on that note, I got nothing else, guys. Thank you for coming up from Virginia just to do this episode. Kristen, welcome
You know
back
me.
to the garage.
Kristen, thank you for coming up from Virginia.
Yes. So we appreciate it, and
no thanks to me.
No thanks. Fuck you, dude.
Man.
Fuck you, dude. You fucking moved to Delco. That's your fault.
Delco.
Fucking Delco.
This is hard being between the two of you here.
Whoa, that's what she said. All right. On that note, it is.
Yes, she did.
Right on
I literally
time.
said it.
On that note, it is time to.